Welcome back to Futbol Mundial, where today I'm joined not by Zach Jalab, he's currently missing. Instead, I have the court jester of 90 plus 1 facts. It's James Wayne.
Thank you, Michael. Today we've got a cracker for you. Big drama in El Clasico, big beef in the Turkish Cup, one of the greatest testimonials in history, and obviously much more.
But before we start, as you know, on Saturday, former Man United manager Sir Alex Ferguson suffered a brain hemorrhage, news that shocked the whole football world.
Yes, tributes have poured in from ex-players, coaches and former rivals of the legendary manager, and reports yesterday suggested he was making good progress after his operation.
From the whole FD family, we wish you all the best in your recovery. Now, you may remember a couple of weeks back, Besiktas said they would not complete their Turkish Cup semi-final tie against rivals Fenerbahce.
Yes, the game was abandoned after violence broke out in the stands, with Black Eagles manager Şenol Güneş having to get stitches in his head from being struck by a missile.
Real nasty stuff. Well, the club lived up to their word last week, not even turning up to Fener's turf for the proposed 32-minute game, leaving their opponents to take a light training session instead.
Obviously, this means Fenerbahce have automatically qualified for Thursday's final, and Besiktas will now have to pay back the equivalent of nearly £700,000 in prize money as punishment.
The club will also be disqualified from next season's tournament, a big price to pay for sticking to your principles, definitely. But what do you think about the situation? Let us know down below.
Very harsh.
A little bit.
There may have been almost nothing to play for apart from Barca's unbeaten streak, but Sunday's El Clasico was one of the spiciest we've seen in a while.
Yes, first of all, Sergio Roberto was sent off on half-time, with Sergio Ramos later claiming that Lionel Messi put pressure on the referee in the tunnel moments later. In total, 9 players made it into the ref's book, which made it the dirtiest Clasico in over 3 years.
Then at the end of the match, Real followed through with their promise not to give their rivals a guard of honour.
Sassy.
Naughty, naughty. But fear not, Barca fans, Gerard Piqué already had a plan. Take a look at this.
As you can see there, the Camp Nou ground staff agreed to carry out the gesture themselves. How lovely. And after the game, there was more good cheer as both Ramos and Zidane paid tribute to the outgoing Andres Iniesta.
Rightly so. Madrid now turn their attentions to the Champions League final at the end of the month, but will they lift the trophy for a 3rd consecutive time? Absolutely bonkers. Vote in the poll above.
Speaking of the Champions League final, what a transition. There's been tons of uproar this week over the price of tickets and the lack of allocation for travelling support.
Real and Liverpool fans have been given just 16,000 seats each in the 70,000 capacity stadium in Kiev, leaving the rest for neutrals and corporate sponsors.
What a bloody
rubbish this, rubbish.
Yeah. And also accommodation pricing has been pretty ludicrous as well, with some hotels and Airbnbs charging as much as £2,000 a night.
But this has led to many locals offering up their hospitality for free for visiting fans in the city, with 27-year-old Victor Kilmar setting up a Kiev-free couch page on Facebook.
What a great gesture. If you are lucky enough to be going along, why not check it out and make your trip a little bit cheaper? Like moneysavingexpert.com, aren't we? Always giving good advice.
We head to Algeria next, possibly for the first time in Mundial history, and knowing Zach's luck, probably the last.
Yes, that's because Northeast club USM Annaba sealed promotion back to the 2nd tier on the weekend in front of 60,000 of their own fans, and they celebrated in some style. Check this out.
That has got to be the biggest pyro display of the season. It's like opening up the gates of hell.
It is,
and
yeah.
Somehow we doubt Wigan fans did anything near this scale when they achieved the same feat last month. In fact, they can't even muster a 1/3 of the crowd.
Best of luck to USM in their future ventures, and if they can produce anything like what their fans did on the weekend, they'll be back at the top in no time. Probably not Wigan. Earlier this year, Italy, Milan and Juve legend Andrea Pirlo announced his plans to stage a testimonial at the San Siro at the end of the season.
And this week, further details about the players who will be taking part in the tribute to the architect on the 21st of May were revealed.
And it's pretty tasty to say the least.
Definitely.
Here goes nothing. Buffon, Dida, Cafu, Cannavaro, Maldini, De Rossi, Rui Costa Lampard, Seedorf, Shevchenko, R9, Ronaldinho, Del Piero, Totti, Crespo, and Vieri, among many others, will all be taking the field in what is surely one of the most star-studded matches of all time.
It really is a 2000s football fan's wet dream.
Yeah.
But who do you think is the greatest player to ever play with Pirlo? Let us know down there. With the transfer window nearly upon us, ludicrous rumours are spreading like wildfire. But this one, we reckon, could be plausible.
Yes, it could. Reports broke today strongly linking Wayne Rooney with the move to MLS side DC United, and apparently the two parties are in serious talks.
Rooney hasn't scored a Prem goal since December and has endured a frustrating second half of the season under Allardyce, so maybe becoming Trump's next door neighbour might not be the worst thing. I mean, he could definitely take some wig advice from Trump.
Definitely, and he could give some transplant
Yeah, you know, sharing is caring.
Secrets, so that'd be pretty good. Plus, the club have also been linked with former teammates Carlos Tevez and Javier Hernandez. But do you think this would be a good move for Rooney? Let us know.
Now it's time for one to watch, and thanks to Menez 18, we're looking at Milan's Manuel Locatelli this week.
Yes, the 21-year-old defensive midfielder has been with the Rossoneri since he was 11 and has become a more prominent figure in the club's lineups over the past 2 seasons, amassing a total of 58 appearances.
Yeah, pretty respectable, that. Well, first and foremost, he is a ball winner. Locatelli is also super confident in possession and takes a punt from distance more than once a game.
Clearly a ballsy guy, and Gattuso's side may need his courageousness when they take on Juve in the Coppa Italia final tonight, so go and watch that, obviously.
Yeah, essential viewing. But who should we feature next? Let us know in the comments with the hashtag #OneToWatch.
So that's Futbol Mundial over for another week. I know, sad times, but while you're here, why not go and check out last week's Stat Wars the Champions with Pat and Statman Dave. It was a bit of a cracker, rematch, Clash of the Titans, you know, all that good stuff. James, where else should they go?
Keep an eye out for next week's Stat Wars. We have a huge mammoth guest, little hint for you there. As always, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little notifications button. Ding dong ding.
Yeah, because sometimes you miss the videos and it's sad.
It's not our fault. You know, blame YouTube.
Yeah, hit that notification button. You'll get it. The next Futbol Mundial comes up, you'll know straight away. You can get our first comment in, yes. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you later.